The Sunday brunch at my parents' country club was everything I'd learned to dread. Expensive mimosas, performative wealth, and endless comparisons between me and my sister Victoria. Victoria just made senior partner at Whitmore Associates, Mom announced to the table of relatives. Youngest senior partner in the firm's 70-year history. Estate planning. She handles portfolios worth over $50 million. Victoria smiled modestly from across the table, diamond earrings glinting in the sunlight streaming through the club's floor-to-ceiling windows. She was 34, impeccably dressed in designer everything, the embodiment of success our parents had always wanted. That's remarkable, Victoria, Aunt Patricia gushed. You must be so proud, Richard. Dad beamed. We are. Victoria's built a real career. Stability, prestige, security. That's what matters. I kept my eyes on my laptop, reviewing the final edits to the Forbes 30 Under 30 finance list that would publish tomorrow morning. My name was number 3. The description read, Samantha Chin, 29, founder of Zenith Ventures, $2.3 billion portfolio across 47 high-growth startups, with 12 successful exits generating combined returns of 840%. But to my family, I played with apps. And what about Samantha? Uncle Frank asked, nodding toward me. Still doing that internet thing? Mom's smile tightened. Sam's exploring tech entrepreneurship. Working from home, you know. Very flexible. Flexible. Code for unemployed in their language. I was 29. I'd founded Zenith Ventures 5 years ago, a venture capital firm focusing on early-stage tech startups. We'd invested in 47 companies, 12 had been acquired or gone public, and our portfolio was currently valued at $2.3 billion. My personal net worth was approximately $680 million. But I worked from my apartment in hoodies, so clearly I was struggling. These tech startups, Uncle Frank shook his head. 99% fail. At some point you need something solid. Look at Victoria. Partnership track 401k pension. That's real security. Victoria cut into her eggs Benedict. Sam's always been the creative one. I'm sure she'll figure out what she wants to do eventually. Eventually. As if 5 years of extraordinary success was just a phase. The problem, Dad said, gesturing with his fork, is that Sam doesn't understand how real business works. Victoria interfaces with actual wealth. Estate planning, trusts, real assets. Sam's just betting on ideas. Ideas that had generated $4.7 billion in exits. But who's counting? My phone vibrated. A text from my Forbes contact. Final edits look good. List publishes tomorrow at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your profile is getting prominent placement. Prepare for attention. I typed back, ready. Thanks for the heads up. Sam put the laptop away, Mom hissed. This is family time. The least you could do is participate. Sorry, just finishing something. See, this is exactly what I mean, Dad told Uncle Frank. No boundaries. No professionalism. Victoria would never bring work to brunch. Victoria smiled sympathetically at me. Sam, you really should think about work-life balance. I know these startup things seem exciting, but you're almost 30. Time to think about stability. I could ask around at my firm. They're always looking for paralegals or administrative support. Administrative support. I manage $2.3 billion in investments, but sure, I'd be great at filing documents. I appreciate the offer, I said neutrally. You should take her up on it, Mom urged. A real paycheck benefits a clear career path. This startup gambling can't last forever. Startup gambling that had returned 840% to our limited partners, making several pension funds and university endowments very happy. The waiter brought another round of mimosas. The conversation shifted to Victoria's latest client, some tech CEO who'd retained her for estate planning. She dropped his name casually, watching for recognition. He's worth about $300 million, Victoria said. Very complicated portfolio. Offshore trusts, multiple properties. It's fascinating work. That's real money, Dad said approvingly. Not this monopoly money from tech bubbles. I stayed quiet. The tech CEO Victoria mentioned, Derek Martinez, was actually one of my portfolio companies. I'd invested $2 million in his startup 4 years ago at a $10 million valuation. The company was now worth $600 million. My stake was worth approximately $120 million. But I'd never mentioned it to my family. What was the point? Sam, honey, Aunt Patricia said kindly, have you thought about going back to school? Maybe getting an MBA? That might help you understand business better. I had an MBA from Stanford. Graduated top 5% of my class. They'd skipped my graduation because Victoria had a work conference that weekend. I'll think about it, I said. My phone buzzed again. This time a text from my managing partner. Just got word. The Chin Family Country Club membership payment bounced. Their account is overextended. Thought you should know. I stared at the message. My parents' country club membership, the one they'd had for 20 years, the source of endless social status, was about to be cancelled for non-payment. I typed back, how much do they owe? $47,000 in back dues plus this quarter's payment. Total of $62,000. I knew why. Dad had retired last year from his regional sales director position. His pension was adequate but not lavish. Mom had never worked. They'd been living beyond their means for years, keeping up appearances, maintaining the lifestyle that validated Victoria's success and their social standing. And now the bill was coming due. Don't tell them I know, I texted back. I want to see how this plays out. The brunch continued. More champagne, more praise for Victoria, more dismissive comments about my internet hobby. Around us, the country club buzzed with other families doing the same dance. Performing success, comparing children, maintaining appearances. The club's annual gala is next month, Mom said brightly. Victoria, you'll bring Marcus, won't you? Victoria's fiancé, a corporate attorney. Perfect match in my parents' eyes. Of course. He's already rented his tux. Sam, you could come too, Mom offered half-heartedly. Though I suppose you probably don't have anything appropriate to wear. I owned a $15,000 Valentino gown I'd worn to our portfolio company's IPO celebration last month. But sure, I probably shopped at Target. I'll check my schedule, I said. Dad's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and I saw his face go pale. He excused himself, walking quickly toward the club entrance. Mom's phone buzzed seconds later. She looked at it and her smile froze. Everything okay? Victoria asked. Fine, Mom said tightly. Just a banking notification. The country club's billing department, most likely. The final notice before membership cancellation. I kept typing, making final notes on a term sheet for a promising AI startup. Tomorrow, when the Forbes list published, everything would change. The world would know what I'd built. But more importantly, my parents would finally understand what they'd dismissed for 5 years. And they'd understand it while losing the country club membership that represented everything they valued, just as I was revealed to be worth more than everyone at this table combined. The irony wasn't lost on me. Sam, close the laptop, Dad said, returning to the table, his face still pale. Show some respect for family time. I closed it slowly. Sure, Dad. Tomorrow morning couldn't come fast enough. The Forbes list published at 6 a.m. By 6:03 my phone was exploding. Congratulations from investors. Interview requests from Bloomberg, CNBC, Wall Street Journal. Partnership inquiries from venture firms wanting to co-invest. Entrepreneurs pitching their startups. And one text from Victoria. Sam, is this real? I was sitting in my apartment, the penthouse I'd bought 2 years ago for $8.5 million, drinking coffee and watching the sunrise over the city. I texted back, what? Forbes. The 30 under 30 list. You're number 3. Says you manage $2.3 billion. Yes. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Why didn't you tell us? I tried. Many times. Nobody listened. My phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. Then Dad. Voicemail. Then Victoria again. I answered. Sam, what the hell? Forbes is calling you one of the most successful young investors in the country. They're saying your returns are better than most established VC firms. They're saying you've made hundreds of millions personally. $680 million approximately, depending on current valuations. Silence. Sam. Victoria, I need to go. I have a CNBC interview in an hour. We'll talk later. I hung up and opened my laptop. The Forbes article was already trending on Twitter. Business Insider had picked it up. TechCrunch was running a profile piece. My professional headshot, the one they'd taken last month, was everywhere. The article detailed my track record. Early investments in companies that had become household names. The AI startup that had been acquired by Google for $1.2 billion. The fintech company that had gone public and tripled in value. The biotech firm that was revolutionizing cancer treatment. 12 successful exits. 35 companies still growing. A portfolio that had generated returns that most venture capitalists would kill for. And I'd built it all while my family thought I was unemployed. My phone rang again. A number I didn't recognize. I answered. Ms. Chin? This is Robert Hartford from the Pacific Heights Country Club. I'm calling to discuss a membership opportunity. Pacific Heights. The most exclusive country club in the city. Memberships started at $250,000 with 5-year waiting lists. I appreciate the call, but I'm not interested in country club memberships. Ms. Chen, we rarely extend invitations, but given your extraordinary success and prominence in the business community, we'd be honored to have you. We could expedite the process significantly. Thank you, but no. I hung up and checked my messages. 17 missed calls from my parents. 6 from Victoria. 3 from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. And 1 email from my parents' country club. Dear Ms. Chen, we understand congratulations are in order regarding your recent Forbes recognition. We wanted to reach out regarding your family's membership status. I deleted it without reading further. The CNBC interview was live at 9 a.m. The anchor, Maria Santos, was known for tough questions. Samantha Chen, welcome. Let's start with the obvious question. $2.3 billion portfolio at age 29. How did you do it? Pattern recognition and conviction. I look for founders solving real problems with innovative approaches. Then I back them aggressively when others are hesitant. Your returns are extraordinary. 840% across 12 exits. That's better than most established firms with decades of experience. I had advantages. I was young enough to understand emerging technologies, old enough to have business experience, and I was willing to take concentrated positions in companies I believed in. Speaking of belief, I understand your own family didn't believe in your career path initially? I smiled slightly. That's true. They thought I was unemployed for the first few years. How does that feel now that you're on the Forbes list? Vindicated. But also focused on what's next. We have 35 active portfolio companies that need support and guidance. The interview continued for 20 minutes. By the time it ended, the segment had been clipped and was going viral on social media. My phone buzzed. Victoria, can we please talk? I called her back during the car ride to my office. Sam, I'm so sorry. We had no idea what you were building. You didn't ask. I know. We were awful. Dismissive. Condescending. Her voice cracked. I told you to apply for administrative jobs. God, Sam, I'm so embarrassed. You should be. Can you forgive us? Eventually, maybe. Right now, I'm processing 5 years of being treated like a failure. What can we do? Nothing. Just, let me work. I have 3 board meetings today and a partnership negotiation tomorrow. Hey. I love you, Sam. I love you too, Victoria. Even when you're insufferable. She laughed weakly and hung up. My parents showed up at my office building that afternoon. The receptionist called up, uncertain. Your parents are here? They don't have an appointment. Send them up. They walked into my office. Modern, minimalist, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the financial district, looking small and old. Sam, honey, Mom started. Don't. I held up a hand. Don't apologize yet. Just listen. They sat. For 5 years I tried to tell you what I was building. Every family dinner, every holiday, every phone call. You dismissed it. Called it a hobby. Suggested I get a real job. Compared me unfavorably to Victoria at every opportunity. We didn't understand, Dad said weakly. You didn't try to understand. There's a difference. I pulled up my portfolio on the screen behind me. See these companies? I found them when they were nothing. Believed in them when nobody else did. Gave them capital to grow. 12 have exited for massive returns. 35 are still building. They stared at the screen. Company logos they recognized, valuations in the hundreds of millions. Derek Martinez, the tech CEO Victoria brags about handling? I made him rich. My $2 million investment in his company is now worth $120 million. Victoria handles his estate planning. I created his estate. Mom's hands were shaking. The Forbes list. I continued. That's not even the full picture. I have another $400 million in investments not included in the portfolio valuation. Real estate, public markets, crypto. My total net worth is probably closer to $900 million depending on the day. Sam. Dad's voice broke. I know about the country club, I said quietly. I know you're $62,000 behind on dues. I know your membership is being cancelled. Mom started crying. I could write a check right now and fix it. It would be nothing to me, a rounding error. I leaned forward. But I'm not going to. Sam, please. Because the country club represents everything that was wrong with how you treated me. Status. Appearances. Conventional success. You valued that over actual achievement. I softened my voice slightly. You need to lose it. Not as punishment but as a lesson. Real wealth isn't about country clubs and designer clothes. It's about building something valuable. Dad was crying now too. I love you both, I said. But I'm not fixing this problem. You'll figure it out. Downsize. Live within your means. Find value in something besides social status. What about us? Mom asked. Our relationship? We'll rebuild it. Fully. When you're ready to see me clearly, not just see my net worth. They left quietly. I watched them go, feeling both sympathy and resolve. My phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. Mom called. She's devastated. Can't you just pay the club dues? No. They need to learn. That's harsh, Sam. It's necessary. They ignored me for 5 years while worrying about appearances. Now they'll lose the appearances and gain perspective. Days passed. No calls from my parents. The Forbes attention kept growing. Interviews, praise, new deals. I invested in 2 companies other VCs had rejected. Pattern recognition. Conviction. That was my edge. A week later, Dad called. Sam, can we have dinner? Just us. No Victoria, no family. Okay. We met at a small Italian restaurant, not their usual fancy spot. We're selling the house, Dad said. Moving to a smaller condo. Time to live within our means. That's smart, I said. Mom looked at me. We're sorry, Sam. Truly sorry. Not because you're successful now, but because we didn't see you for who you were. I appreciate that. Can we start over? Dad asked. Can you help us really understand what you do? I thought about the years of silence and judgment. The pain and the pride. Yes, I said finally. But it has to be real. No more comparing me to Victoria. No more acting like my work doesn't matter. Deal, they said together. We talked for 3 hours. I explained venture capital, how I chose companies, how I helped them grow. They listened. Asked real questions. It wasn't full forgiveness, but it was a beginning. 6 months later, I closed the biggest deal of my career. A $200 million biotech fund. My parents came to the celebration dinner, proud and engaged. Victoria supported me too, sending wealthy clients my way. We were rebuilding, slowly, honestly. And I'd learned something important. Success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about building something so strong their opinions stop mattering. The Forbes list started the conversation. But rebuilding trust took effort, patience, and real understanding. We were growing again, imperfect but real. And that meant more than any country club ever could.